Geelong born or Geelong school, Torquay bred. Does that make you a Geelong supporter?
No, no. I was always a Plugger supporter, Tony Lockett.
No, that's fair.
I didn't really know what to do when he retired as far as supporting footy. So now I think I'm going to barrack for Goodsey.
Okay. Well, good choice, good choice. Australian of the Year, I can't pip that. If you ever have a fallout with him, the Tigs would happily have you. Mate, as we've been talking tonight, it's a very serious but also a fantastic initiative that the Players Association are launching with our rap. Mate, perhaps a little bit of insight into, I guess, what's given you your passion around your music and the messages that you portray through it.
Well, it's a long story, but definitely I'm excited. I was excited to come down and be part of this today because football is such a great avenue in this country for change, and we really need change in this country. This is, a topic that probably we always don't want to highlight, but this is a very racist country and it's a very ignorant country compared to the rest of the world. I've done a lot of travel around, and in a lot of ways there's more interest in our Indigenous culture worldwide from people, and people wondering why our culture isn't celebrated like it should be in this country. And that's not the fault of the people at all. It's what the society was built on, and that education hasn't been available for white people in Australia, and it should be. And these kind of action programs like this are really, really important because it can put the beauty of our Indigenous culture into the lounge rooms of people who may have grown up in a racist family, in a family that from their conditioning over time had an opinion of Aboriginal people. And still in our country, the negative parts of the trouble in communities, which is completely understandable considering as what's happened, after so much oppression, any race of any people anywhere would have an aftermath of problems that take time to iron out. Yet our country still seems to focus on that stuff. Last night I just went and saw the Juki dances, and there's so much amazing art and culture in the top end of our country that people don't see. There's so much beauty and so much wisdom in our Aboriginal culture that it needs to be promoted. And if our government and our education system isn't really going to focus on promoting it, then things like footy can really put it in people's laps, and really change the opinion of people, and people can feel a part of it. That's the problem, is that I think more so white people just feel a bit removed because they don't really understand, because they never really had a chance, so they don't really know how to interact with it or whether. But it's all cool. And you can imagine one day if through programs like this, eventually in football, you could see a whole team do a traditional dance of one of the players that comes from the NT, or you know what I mean, and possibly do that before a game like they do in New Zealand, and that stuff can be promoted, and they can have fun with it. And it can be something that supporters can get into, can learn those dance steps, can be involved, because it's a beautiful, beautiful, ancient, amazing culture that moves through all of us. Doesn't matter what our bloodline is, that, like Goodsey said, that spirit moves through all of us. We all feel it, we all love our country, we all feel passionate about our culture, really deep down. And it's time to celebrate.
Is there anything you've learnt from your travels or from your own experiences that you think we as a playing group and an AFL Players Association or an industry could do to aid that process?
I think it's just cut down the barriers. I think in Australia there's always been this sort of like conservative social barriers that exist. We all know what we're talking about. And that stuff doesn't matter. And in Aboriginal culture, all around Australia, there's a good laugh. Everyone can have a laugh. No one's going to take offence to anyone asking questions or wondering, what do you blackfellas think about this? Da da da. That's how it works. Everyone has a laugh and everyone has a So it's that. It's understanding that it's okay. it's actually okay. Like, everyone can talk about it, can have a laugh, and can sort of get into the culture, no matter what their bloodline is, or whether they've ever met an Aboriginal person in their life, or whether, they had racist parents or grandparents or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, everyone knows the reason for that. And I think it's just about breaking down those barriers and doing things like this and celebrating a culture that's been going for thousands of years, that breeds all these beautiful athletes and artists and cultural. It's amazing. There's no end of what comes out of our Aboriginal culture, and I think that it's just about just breaking down those social barriers and just being okay. Everything's cool. Everything's totally cool.